Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Corki updated complete guide. Haven't covered Corki in quite a while. His build hasn't really changed all that much. But of course, before we jump into it, as usual, don't forget to check out Corki's basic guide that I will link up in the cards above for his skills, leveling order tips and tricks, as well as some combos. So let's jump straight into the loadout. So basically with Corki now, you only have like 3 core items, which is the first 3 that you see here in the loadout. So first up, you want to start off with the Gluttonous Greaves. This is not one of the core items, by the way, it's just the boots. So Gluttonous Greaves, AD, and Omnivamp as usual. You want to go for this first, and the reason for this is Corki does mixed damage, which is like 80% AP and 20% AD. So Omnivamp is going to help you out with just healing off of all of your damage basically. So Manamune is important for a couple of reasons. It firstly solves his mana issues. He is a very mana hungry champion. Secondly, of course, it increases your poke by a ton, as well as just your auto attack damage, because Manamune, of course, did also get buffed, like I think last patch or 2 patches ago, something like that. So really good for that. And then we have Triforce. It gives you all of the nice stats. You know, we have extra health, extra attack speed, AD, ability haste, and of course, most importantly, the Spellblade passive, which is going to allow you to auto attack in between casting your spells to proc the Spellblade passive. Really good on Corki because he can spam his ult a lot, so he can proc Spellblade very often. And finally, for the last core item, we have Light Riftmaker. Again, we get health, we get AP, which Corki also scales off of AP, just a little bit less than AD. Magic Pen. We get the Omnivamp once again, and we get the Void Corruption passive, which is where the power lies, which is, of course, you deal 10% extra true damage after 4 seconds, just a really strong item overall. So your last 2 items are very flexible. So here, one of the options you have is Magnetic Blaster, where getting the extra range is going to be very helpful for you. And also you have like GA for the revive, for example, but the last 2 items you can really go for a lot of things. So for example, you could go for Maw into heavy AP teams just for that magic damage shield, Kempang Chainsword if you need Grievous Wounds. Now I really don't like going for the the Maul Reminder, because Corki, remember, he does majority magic damage, so the Armor Pen here is not very useful at all. You really don't want to build Maul Reminder. You want to build Kempang Chainsword. You at least get the health and better stats. You can go for something like Starex for the health, as well as going for that shield and the cleanse as well. And of course, a very popular one is going to be Crown as well. Crown for the extra safety. So really, the last 2 items kind of depends on the matchup, what you really want to go for. But yeah. So for the runes, Conquer, First Strike is an option as well, but overall I feel that Conquer is just more consistent because you're generally in fights for quite some time. You can easily stack up your Conquer with your spells and your auto attacks, and you can just use Conquer to carry the fight instead of First Strike, where you pretty much use up First Strike at the start of the fight, and then you don't really have your rune afterwards. So of course we have Brutal here because you auto attack quite a bit. Giant Slayer generally has the most value here. We have Alacrity here because we already have a decent amount of healing from Gluttonous Greaves as well as Riftmaker, so attack speed here is good. And we have Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities, and then for the spells we go for Flash together with Exhaust. But with all that said, let's now move on to talking about his gameplay. Okay, so now jumping into the gameplay. Now, of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and of course, be sure to address them. Okay, so right off the bat, we are using the new Chroma Crash Corki skin. I don't know why the Chroma Crash skins are so expensive. It's like more expensive than the legendary skin. But yeah, anyways, gotta charge my phone here. But yeah, it's like more expensive than like a legendary skin. And I don't really think it makes sense. Like, I think that the Chroma Crash skin line is just one of those like exclusive to Wild Rift, like premium skin lines or something like that. But I don't really know why. Anyways, we're not here to talk about skins. You guys can enjoy the skin effects as we go through the game. But we're here to talk, of course, about Corki. So Corki, as a champion, his playstyle is pretty interesting. I say that because on one hand, your Q and your ulti are pretty long range and you can just spam them without having to even go anywhere near. But on the other hand, you do want to auto attack in between to proc your Triforce. Now, of course, you don't necessarily need to build Triforce. You could always just go for a build that's focused just on using your ult and your E at long range, which there have been builds like that, and like they involve things like Ludens, for example. So those builds do exist, but I think you're actually losing out on a lot if you don't walk up and auto attack. Also because Corki has an E, which is his Gatling gun, and the range of that is basically like melee range. So you kind of have to walk up to use your Gatling gun. Now, of course, again, you could just not use it, but that's an entire ability that you're kind of wasting. So overall, I think it's something I did. So here you see, I'm gonna have to I walk up and like use my Gatling gun onto the Kai'Sa, and yeah. So that's pretty much how Corki works. You do want to get up close and personal. You do want to use the Gatling gun. It does shred a lot of defenses, so that is very, very helpful for you in terms of just doing extra damage. However, this means that Corki isn't really necessarily that safe. He does have a dash, which is Valkyrie, we just saw there, but you do need to be kind of close to use the Gatling gun onto the enemy, something like this. So you see where the minions are, you pretty much have to be this distance from the enemy, not right next to them, but really, really close, such that most melee champions are able to use some kind of spell on you. So yeah, generally this is the reason why Corki likes to have a good amount of CC on his team. So here, generally Corki does prefer to have like an engager, like Leona, Nautilus, Alistar, the like. But some enchanters like Nami also works because she does have a decent amount of CC, and she can also of course help buff you up and help save you, so that also kind of works. Also in the team we have other champions like Ornn, who has a really good amount of CC, things like that. So you can see we're already running into our first immediate problem, which is simply the fact that Corki runs out of mana very easily, especially before you get mana immune. So yeah, you do run out of mana really, really quickly, and there's not too much you can do about that, aside from maybe taking Mana Flow Ban as a rune, which I don't really recommend because it does help your early lane, but it kind of loses a lot of value the moment you get mana immune, because yes, you will convert the extra mana into damage, but you know, Bone Plating or like even Hex Splash or a lot of other runes just have a lot more value than what Mana Flow Ban can give you. So here we're about to hit level 5 really soon, and Nami actually hits level 5, and the enemy is really close to hitting level 5 too. So this is where a fight might happen. Corki's level 5 is not particularly strong because you just get an extra poke ability, not like you know, Kai'Sa for example, where you get the shield and you get the extra dash. So we do definitely have to watch out. Here, Lee Sin and Yasuo are in the enemy jungle, just farming the enemy jungle. So I'm thinking this could be a possible dive angle, because if we form and dive them, this likely is going to be successful. Looks like Lee Sin and Yasuo did get the message, and Lee Sin is going in. I'm somehow tanking the tower. I'm not sure why, but we end up getting both of them eventually. Yeah, I really don't know why I tanked the tower there, because I honestly thought that one of the either Lee Sin or Yasuo was tanking, and then I went in afterwards, but I don't know how I ended up tanking the tower. But regardless, anyways, we're able to pick up 2 tower plates here, and we are going to just reset and of course get some items. And the items, of course, mainly going to be the tier, of course, to start stacking it up. As you guys can see already. So here, importantly, we don't want to pick up the package because there isn't really an opportunity to use it. Basically, you only want to pick up package when you're going for an objective fight, or if there's already a fight ongoing and you think you can reach the fight with your package, because otherwise it's gonna be a waste in general to use the package. Here I'm dashing onto the Kai'Sa just to get off a good trade, to get off some good damage. Nami ulti comes in onto both of them, and Janna ulti comes in as well to push me away. Nice Nami bubble onto 2 to finish off the Janna, and I'm able to finish off the Kai'Sa in the long run. Pretty close one. Now both objectives are actually spawning. However, in this case, we're just going to go for plates, because it's pretty obvious that the enemy bot lane is dead, so they can't really do anything. Hecarim is going for the Herald, and Lee Sin's going for the Dragon, so we're simply going to clear up the wave, and then maybe go to Dragon. I say that, but Lee Sin and Yasuo decides they change their mind, and they decide to go to the Herald instead, and Hecarim isn't even at the Herald, so I don't know what I'm witnessing here. It's kind of a fiesta. But yeah, so now they are doing the Herald, so now we are going to back and get a reset, because we have not yet done so after the 2 kills. And here I'm able to complete my mana immune, start stacking it up, and Hecarim is now on the Dragon, so I'm going to quickly pick up the package, hopefully make it to the Dragon and use the package. Lee Sin does get the first tower mid. Hecarim is not even on the Dragon. So here we have package. We maybe want to use the package to go in on the bot lane again. Nami wave comes in. I'm going to... unfortunately, I end up shoving the champions out of the Nami wave, which is a little bit of anti-synergy there. But either which way, we do get the pick onto both Hecarim as well as Janna. Kai'Sa does escape because I did shove her to safety, but generally the package is... You want to use the package in the way I used it, which is you want to use it in between people to split them up. and then you pick off the guy who's behind, because the guy in front can't help the guy behind. So unless you want to make a play where you put the package in front of both of them, cut off their escape and push them back, that works as well, but it kind of is situational depending on which is better. In this case, it would have been better if I shoved both of them back. However, I just don't have the angle to do so unless I flash forward to get the angle and then package. But in general, this is pretty challenging. So here, unfortunately, Nami's back gets cancelled and I'm not able to get the tower, but Kai'Sa gets caught again. I have a full stack Conqueror, but I do get exhausted. I'm going to trade the exhaust onto the Kai'Sa, exhaust her as well. They're both really, really low. I end up finishing off the Janna, but Kai'Sa is able to escape on 1 HP. We are, however, going to finally finish off the tower, and here Ahri comes in. Unfortunately, basically just destroys the Nami with the help of her ultimate, and not much I can really do to help considering how low HP Nami was. Now, Ahri still sticking around in this bush, using up all of her ult charges, and here Yasuo is going in very, very deep. He is 7-0-2, the Yasuo is. However, I'm not interested in going so deep. I want to reset, which I am going to, and Yasuo ends up getting collapsed on by 3 people at this point, 4 people now with the Aatrox, and even a 7-0 Yasuo, no way he's going to survive 4 people, eventually does die, gets shut down, and of course is going to ping me, just because I was near him and I didn't help him. But obviously, you know, objectively speaking, it doesn't really make sense to commit so heavily onto that play when you really don't know where any of the enemies are, and you really don't have that much to gain. Like, even if you kill like 2 of them, like, you know, you don't really have that much to gain, no objectives are up, and there's no reason to risk your 7-kill shutdown on that. So honestly, I just think that Yasuo made a really poor decision there. But we're gonna help to clear the mid wave and shove it in. And I was gonna go back to the top lane here, but I eventually decided to do so. I was thinking of sticking around the mid because Yasuo actually went bot, but then I realized that the mid wave is still so far away. I can actually go to top wave and farm the top wave first, and then maybe even head back to mid and farm the mid wave. A huge fight ends up breaking out at the bottom side of the map, but I'm on the completely wrong side of the map to go for the fight. So instead, I'm going to rotate over to mid lane, maybe clear the mid lane. But since the fight is not really fully broken out yet, I actually think I might be able to make it to the fight. So here, I'm clearing up the mid wave, getting a little bit of mid lane priority, you know, while I'm at it. And now the fight's actually fully breaking out. So I decide to drop the mid wave and run to the fight as quickly as I can. However, it looks like the fight is already over before I can even get there. So instead, I'm just gonna recall and you know, just once again pick up some items. So here I got my Triforce completed. Again, not picking up the package because there's no objective coming, so there's no real reason to take the package, especially because the whole enemy team just died. So definitely not gonna have an opportunity to use the package. Now, I think one of the biggest nerfs that they gave to Corki is reducing the amount of time he can carry his package. I believe now he can only hold the package for 30 seconds, which sounds like a long time, but in reality, to make effective use of the package, you have to basically back like 20 seconds before objective spawns, buy items, pick up the package, and make it back to the objective. And during all this time, more than half of your package timer is already gone because you have to walk up from the base with the package. So it really isn't that long as you think. And yeah, I mean, in League PC, Corki lost his package completely. He doesn't even have a package anymore. He now has more damage instead in compensation. Yeah, but he doesn't have a package in League PC anymore. I wonder if that's going to come to Wild Rift. I think that would be pretty interesting if it does. And I honestly think that that would make Corki better because although Corki's package is really, really strong, so much of his power budget is in his package. So that's why in general, he's a little bit weaker without his package because, you know, you have to account for the fact that your package does a lot of damage. He has CC, area control, things like that. And yeah, so objectives are going to be spawning soon, so I'm going to actually recall, get items, and then pick up my package. So I would think that if you remove Corki's package and give him just more damage in general, I think that would be way better for Corki. Yeah, so the dragon is going to be spawning in 14 seconds. So here you can see I'm walking with the package. And trying to look for an opportunity to use it before he expires. I'm not going to dash into the enemy team here, obviously, so still looking for an opportunity. Ornn is stepping up, getting a little bit of poke. Still no real opportunity here, so instead I'm just going to go to the dragon and, you know, just do the dragon, basically. Now, the bot lane is on the opposite side of the map, enemy bot lane, so there's no contest at all. I still have the package. I'm looking for a chance to use it. Doesn't look like I will get any chance to use it at all. I'm probably just going to use it to close the distance since I'm running out of my package timer. Anyway, we're chasing down this Ahri. I flash forward. I honestly thought we got the Ahri here, but Ahri somehow survives on 1 HP and she must have ran upward. Yeah, there she is. Ornn has vision on her. And we basically end up not killing her at all. She did have to use her ult to escape though, so it's not for nothing, but yeah. I honestly thought that we got her there, but we did not. So yeah, I'm doing pretty alright at this point. I'm 3-0-3 with a pretty solid amount of gold. Of course, now Lee Sin is Giga fed. He's 4-1-5. Yasuo is 8-1-3, so our whole team is kind of doing really, really well. Ornn doesn't have any kills, but he doesn't have any deaths either, so our whole team is kind of just doing pretty well in general. We have a 4k gold lead over the enemy team. Pretty decent. And here, looks like we're kind of, I wouldn't say trolling, but we're kind of just pushing up in mid for no good reason. You can see Ahri's charm comes in. I actually was able to dash behind the Nami, and Nami gets hit by the charm instead. Nami survives, CC's the Ahri, and I'm able to finish her off. Now I'm just basically poking the enemies down from range, as basically what Corki is intended to do. And now that we have the damage down, we can dash forward with the Gatling gun and just finish off the rest of the kills. So we overall got 3 kills in that fight, and we're gonna get this mid lane inhib, which again, mid lane inhib is not that important in the sense that side lane inhibs are way more important than mid lane inhib. But a tower is a tower, so we're just gonna grab that. And now Baron is alive, so on the way back, on the way out from the enemy base, we're gonna just go to Baron and pick it up. Now, sometimes you do have the debate of Baron or Inhib. Now, in my opinion, Baron is always better than Inhib, but because most people in the Wild Rift prefer Inhib over Baron, so a lot of times you can't get people to come to Baron, and they just insist on going for Inhib anyway, which is why I basically just gave up and I just went for Inhib regardless, because people love getting Inhibs, like especially they like getting mid lane Inhib over Baron, which I think is not worth, because in theory, if you get Baron and you play properly, you should be able to get that inhib that you were gonna get anyway, and also more towers. But of course, that's a big if, because we all know that for example, you can get Baron and then your whole team just dies, and basically you might as well have just gone for the inhib, which you would have gotten more in that case. Which is kind of why I'm not so against going for inhib over Baron, because so many times you go for Baron, your team just refuses to recall, they throw, and like 2-3 people die, and your Baron is essentially just useless because you have completely no tempo to play with around on the map, and that's pretty much just it. So here we do want to push top, but we saw some people in mid, and they could easily be rotating to top, so we are a little bit hesitant to push up too far, which is why we're not going for this tower. We're just kind of waiting to see if anyone shows up on vision. We can see Ahri mid now, we can see Aatrox here, he is clearing up the wave. Lee Sin comes in with the kick, but Aatrox is able to escape with the help of his flash. However, this does push him away from the tower though, so we are going to be able to get this tower. We are also going to try to get this inhib. If we can, we are going to be able to burst it pretty fast. We get the inhib, Yasuo goes in with the ulti. I get charmed by the Ahri, but she doesn't actually do any damage. Aatrox goes down. And we're now onto the Nexus itself. However, everyone dies to the Nexus, so we're going to have to basically just run away. Pretty funny there. The Nexus does do a ton of damage. Like I think one Nexus shot to an ADC is like half the ADC's health, or something like that. But we did get 2 inhibs out of that push, so that is pretty positive. We have Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, which is going to be Ice Soul for us. Ornn is getting pelted by Kai'Sa and Janna at this point. Is able to eventually escape. Now here I didn't pick up the package. Was picking up the package 30 seconds before objective spawn is just not good, because by the time the objective spawns, your package is going to expire. So unless a fight breaks up before objective spawns, if not, you can't use the package. So here you can see I'm now backing right as the objective is about to spawn to pick up the package. My team is coming off the revive anyway, so I'm going to be a little bit behind them, but I'm going to be ready with the package at the objective. Aatrox is already on the objective. He is just the top laner though. So here I'm trying to look for an angle. I go in with the package. Unfortunately, I push them away instead of pushing them towards, but they all just willingly step onto the package regardless. They take a ton of damage. I go godlike, picking up a kill here. Ornn ulti is coming in, hits absolutely nobody. We claim the Ice Soul, and we are able to burst down the Aatrox. Ahri is running for the hills. Yasuo is on the chase. I'm really not interested in chasing Ahri, because I don't think that we're gonna get her. But for some reason she walked backwards. Maybe she was ulting away from the Yasuo and it forced her to ult backwards. But either which way, At this point, the game is won. The enemy team has been wiped, and here we have the victory. Alright, so I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.